Okay, folks, I've run into a problem. I was doing a 50-minute walk outside, and here I am warming up. I'm going to try something different that I hope will be easier on my feet. But yesterday, when I came back from my 50-minute walk, my feet were killing me. The problem is I have bad feet, and even though I have good shoes, New Balance with a good insert, an Atrex, Aetrex insole, I mean, it's about as good as you're going to get for the feet. My feet can't seem to take more than a 30 or 40-minute walk without being in pain. So I figured, when I bought this glider back in 2001, in some ways it was a good investment because it my favorite form of exercise machine is the cross country ski machine, and this is kind of like I couldn't afford that back in 2001, and I actually bought this on my credit card back then. And this is pretty easy on my joints. But you can see the extra walk, I am working up my leg muscles there. You can see it right there. So I am building some muscle. But when I came back from my walk yesterday, I noticed I gained some weight and my stomach was bloated. In fact, it's a little bloated today. Brent Spiner's been telling me brain to brain that Zack Knight has been putting something in the air, either a yeast toxin or the yeast germ itself. And that's he says I'm inhaling it and then it's being absorbed into my bloodstream and it's going to my guts and any friendly area of my body and causing some problems. So Zack Knight is trying to discourage me from the extra exercise, and he's apparently found a method by putting something in the air. So when I inhale the yeast, it actually causes abdominal bloating. So I may not be able to totally win with the flat abs category, but my overall weight is going down, though I found that looks like I need to increase my protein and my carbs a little bit to give my body the fuel it needs for the extra exercise. But I am following Jesus calories in, calories out. And right now you can see me here doing a warm up. And I was just checking it out in my camera. And I'm warming up for the aerobics. It's Tony Little's glider program. And right now I'm warming up. I just did my stretching and I'm warming up for the final exercise. I'm going to see if this will be easier on my feet so that I can still get in my 15 minutes to an hour a day's worth of exercise. My windows are open and I'm breathing in outside air and I'm getting ready for my aerobics, which I'm going to do on my glider. Like I said, my favorite indoor machine is the cross country ski machine. So um, this was like the closest thing I could get to that. As far as flat abs, that may not be possible because of what Zack Knight puts in the air, but I'm not going to I mean, it would be nice to have flat abs, but I don't think because of Zack Knight's treachery that this will ever happen in my life. As long as I keep breathing in the yeast toxin, I don't know. Anyways, the main thing is I don't like it when my weight gets up to over 136 because then it's not healthy. So, okay, I'm starting my workout now, and what I did yesterday is I did a 50-minute walk, and I noticed that when I do a 50-minute walk, I can't, around the ankle area, it gets really uncomfortable about the last 15 minutes. So I loosen that up, and the result is that when I walk, my feet kind of flop around in my shoe, and then by the end, my toes are sore. So the 50-minute walk idea doesn't seem to be working out for me. It's just too tough on my feet. So now I'm going to try to combine indoor and outdoor exercise so I can get my 50-minute walk that way. The 30-minute walk, which is what Jesus says is mandatory for me, is not enough considering how much food I'm taking in. I'm using his calories in, calories out. And my weight has been averaging between 127 to about 129 in the morning. And yesterday, I noticed that when I came back from my walk, my abdomen was bloated and it made me. I looked like I was pregnant. This is what happens to me. And I asked Brent, "What's going on? Why am I bloated?" Jesus says I don't have food allergies. And Brent said it's a combination of Zack Knight's brain control. He can actually use brain control on you to cause your abdomen to bloat. And I think he's just trying to discourage you from exercise because you're looking so good lately in all your videos, and he wants you to be ugly. So he's using brain control to cause abdominal bloating. And Brent was telling me brain to brain. Also, you may be inhaling yeast or yeast toxin, and your body is depositing that. It's going into your blood, and your body's depositing that maybe in your abdominal area, and that's also causing bloating because I'm allergic to yeast toxin. So I'm thinking, well, Brent. So Brent says, I don't care if you have a little bit of bloating in your abs. You'll always be beautiful to me, Gail. And he says you're doing incredible, for your age. And so somebody was making a comment saying I should do what do they call it? Abdominal crunches and stuff. I'm actually doing a type of abdominal crunches. I do a little bit of abdominal crunches. I have a link for that underneath this video. And also, I'm going to put a link for the Tony Little Gazelles program, which I'm doing. I'm not showing you the whole thing here, or else this would be a 30-minute long video, and Jesus told me I can't go over 15 minutes. So I'm showing you bits and pieces of my workout. I only did up to the end of intermediate, and then I just got so tired I had to quit. So maybe I can work up to advanced later, but I don't want to. All my muscles are still sore. And I think I noticed starting yesterday, even though I hadn't changed my diet, as far as I know, I started gaining some weight. And so I said, Brent, what's going on? He said it's a combination of many things. You're suffering from some inflammation because your muscles are not used to the extra exercise. And so the inflammation is causing you to get water weight gain. And he said also, I said, yeah, but it's going to my abs. He said, yeah, that's a combination of many things. He said, you're breathing in some allergens from the air, and that's somehow affecting your, and I think Zach is dropping a bunch of bombs around me, and so I'm getting what I'm breathing in is actually affecting my gut. This has happened to me before where Zach or the Jesuits will put allergens in the air, and then I will inhale it, and it will affect my gut. Apparently, I inhale it, it gets into my blood, and then it affects my gut. This has happened to me before. A couple years ago, a Jesuit went around my apartment and was just dumping bags of pollen into the air. I felt so sick that when I was inhaling that stuff, I had to go to the toilet to have a diarrhea dump. And I was bloated and feeling nauseated. And when you inhale an allergen, it can do that to you. But Jesus tells me that I need to go outside and walk, that he's putting something in the air to help my health. So apparently Zack Knight's putting something in the air, but Jesus is putting something in the air too. And I'm not exactly sure how it works. Jesus hasn't gone into the science behind it, but I make sure to do 30 minutes a day. I do suffer. I've had problems with abdominal bloating because of my yeast infection. And even though the yeast infection is gone, I am allergic to yeast toxin. And if Zack Knight puts that yeast toxin in the air, maybe as the fallout from his bombs, and I inhale that, it's probably going to cause abdominal bloating in me. So there's no way I can totally win. So, but my goal right now is my weight is about 129, 128, 127, somewhere in that range. It varies depending on the water weight gain from day to day and muscle inflammation and all that. So my goal right now is to just exercise enough so I can stay in that range and maybe go lower. My dream weight, and I'm not going to die if I can't get there. I'm not going to starve myself to get there. I'm doing the myfitnesspal.com, and I'm doing the calories in, calories out. but I'm finding that I have to eat around 1,300 to 1,350 calories a day, or I just feel like I'm suffering, like my stomach. And, and if I don't have that, and I can't seem to be able to eat less than that. So, and the only way I can eat that much and not go over 130 pounds is to exercise. So that's what I'm doing. And but because of my age and also because I have bad feet, I have to use a little bit of strategy here. So I can tolerate a half an hour walk outside and I'm wearing my exercise shoes. But when I get past like 40 minutes, then my feet start hurting, and then I'm going to be defeating my purpose. So I can't afford to have my feet hurt. So anyways, you can see I'm working out here, and I have my windows open, so that's whatever Jesus is putting in the air, that's going to help me. Zach is not happy that I'm following the Gail commandments, and he's trying to sabotage that. So it's possible I may, and as long as he's able to drop those bombs and I inhale whatever he's putting in those bombs, I may never get rid of my abdominal bloating, even if I do crunches. So it's an allergen that's causing that, and I'm inhaling it, and it's going to my stomach. I'm not sure how that works, but I've seen my body do it before, like I already explained. So, right now I'm following the Tony Little's exercise program, and the Gail commandments say that if it's raining, this is what I need to do, something like this indoors with the windows open. So, this is my strategy right now. I actually measured my waistline this morning as 26.5, but I am suffering from some bloating and maybe some water retention, and I think it's due to inflammation. The inflammation is a mixture of, stress from exercise. In other words, right now I can only go up to the intermediate. If I try to do advanced, I think I'm going to be overdoing it. So what I'm going to do my strategy right now is I'm going to have about 25 minutes of exercise on the glider, which I'm going to count as a jog. And I'm going to count that as like a 25-minute jog, and I'm going to log that in as a 25-minute jog at myfitnesspal.com. Plus, I will go outside for a half an hour or maybe 40 minutes, probably a half an hour because my feet need a break, for a half an hour outside to walk. So that means for the day, I'll be getting almost an hour. So that should help with my weight management goals. So I've been losing some weight. Before I couldn't get below 130 or 129, and since I started adding another 20 minutes to my workout, I actually got down to 126 one day, but Zack Knight didn't waste any time to sabotage that. The next day, I went up to 129, and I hadn't changed anything. I said, Brent, what's going on? He said, Zack Knight's putting something in the air to cause you to have water retention, and it helps increase inflammation in your body. Jesus is also putting something in the air to override that, but there's so much of what Zach's doing is in the air that. Nevertheless, guys, we all need to follow the Gail commandments, okay? We're going to have some setbacks as we try to reach our goals. The Jesuits and Zack Knight don't like it when we're winners and when we're doing what's right, and they're jealous and they want to defeat us. We just need to keep on doing what's right, and when we have setbacks, just keep on going. I'm going to trust that maybe eventually the inflammation will settle down. Maybe if I keep walking and keep exercising, my body will find a happy medium and won't be so inflamed. Jesus has already told me it's not what I'm eating, which is what Zack Knight would want me to believe. And I did eat a little bit more peanuts yesterday, but it seems like I didn't have more than 3/4 of a cup. So I don't think that's it. I really think it's something I'm breathing, which I don't have any control over. I can't control what's in my air. And I'm not going to spend money on an expensive air cleaner. Jesus said only food and bills. And besides, I used to have one of those expensive air cleaners, and they don't really take everything out anyway. The stuff all leaks through your windows. I have so many leaky windows here, and there's air coming through under my door. It's a lost cause. I'm stuck breathing whatever Zack Knight puts in those bombs that gets into the air. So I'm obeying the Gail commandments, and I'm going to trust Jesus to take care of my health. He promised that he would if I obeyed his commandments, and he'll take care of me, and it's going to work out all right. Right now, I'm doing cool down after the intermediate here, but I'm just showing you what I'm doing. I have a change of strategy here. I was walking 15 minutes outside. I'm now going to have to change that and do a combination of indoor and outdoor exercise to get about 50 minutes to an hour a day, which is my goal, so that I can stay within the weight I want. So I'm not going to give up, and I'm following the Gail commandments.